So Godzilla Minus One is the newest addition to the Godzilla franchise, and this is a standalone Godzilla film, not part of the MonsterVerse. This is the 33rd Godzilla film that is made by Toho Productions. The movie is directed by Takashi Yamazaki, and it was actually nice to get this new Godzilla that we've been seeing in the MonsterVerse in Japan, the origin where Godzilla came out, of course, back in 1954. So I was really excited about this, mainly because this Godzilla was taking place in Japan. The film actually centers during post-war Japan after World War II. So they're like in their lowest of the low. They're trying to recover from the war, and they have to deal with a new crisis while they're recovering. And this crisis is something that has been mutated by nuclear weapons. Of course, I'm speaking of Godzilla. I am a very average Godzilla fan. I'm not like a very big fan of Godzilla. There are movies that I will love to watch if I'm like in the mood for watching some crisis mode movie or like action-packed filled movie. But I mean, the reason why I'm not the biggest fan is because it doesn't matter what the situation is, whether he's fighting Mechagodzilla, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra, or King Kong. Basically, all the films are the same in my opinion. They just go into full crisis mode, and it's like everybody's just fighting for their lives while Godzilla is doing his thing. Now, I'm not saying the movies are plotless. I mean, that would be going way too far. But, I mean, it just seems like every actor in a Godzilla movie just has a small little subplot, when we all know the larger plot is basically focused on Godzilla and his battle with whoever he's with, or with whoever it is stopping him. But when it comes to this movie, this has to be probably one of the best, if not the best, Godzilla movie I have seen. The MonsterVerse Godzillas don't even hold a candle to this movie. The characters are used so much more in this movie than they would usually be used in a Godzilla franchise. I mean, our main character is working on this boat that they call a minesweeper. It's like this wooden boat, looks kind of like a fishing boat, and they are actually looking for mines. The mines are magnetic, by the way, so they can't actually be in a steel boat, because unless they want to die. And while they're there, they're like devising this plot on how they're going to stop Godzilla from reaching the mainland. But that's what makes the movie so great, in my opinion, that the whole movie does not focus on our favorite atomic breathing monster here. I mean, yes, the movie is still in crisis mode, but I mean, it shows that a Godzilla movie can be really good, and it doesn't have to all focus on Godzilla. I mean, along with all the people who are taking part in the plan and stopping him, I mean, we also focus on our main character and his family, putting air quotes around family, because technically the woman he's in a relationship with is not his wife. They're not married, and they also have an adopted son. But I mean, it also works well because we're trying to see how they are trying to survive this situation. And of course, Godzilla's not helping them at all. You are rooting for these characters from the start. I mean, for our main characters, you want their relationship to work. You want them to survive this, and you want them to stop Godzilla. I mean, that of course applies to everybody who's on the team trying to stop Godzilla, of course. But I mean, from the start of this movie, I was hooked. I was rooting for these characters all the way. If you don't relate to the main character, that's fine, but I'm sure there is some character in this movie that every audience member will find some relationship to. I mean, with the way it was played out, I was actually thinking, back in 2014 when the first MonsterVerse Godzilla came out, I actually thought that was what we got here in Minus One. That was the story we were going to get then. But of course, after that prologue in that first movie, full crisis mode on Godzilla. Went into Godzilla crisis mode, is what I'm trying to say. Speaking of Godzilla, he was just full-on villain. He was nothing like he was in the previous films. I mean, he was not there to restore balance. He was there to destroy. We saw him as the monster he could be. Better yet, he wasn't just there to destroy, he was destruction. He was destruction. He is perceived as a god in this film, a god who is here to destroy. I mean, he didn't even look friendly at all like he does, like I've seen him before. He was just scary. This Godzilla was amazing, and I mean, the Godzilla we saw in the MonsterVerse didn't even compare to this one. I mean, the score was great, the action sequences were great. I mean, I'm trying to think here, but I mean, there is literally no flaw. I did not see a single flaw in this Godzilla movie. I mean, it was just perfect. There was nothing wrong here. Takashi Yamazaki did a great job with this film, and I hope they continue it or make a sequel to it because, I mean, I just hope they just didn't finish it right then and there. Because there was a little bit extra at the end. I don't want to spoil it because this was a spoiler-free review. But no question, Godzilla Minus One gets an A+. No question about it. One of the best Godzilla movies that I've seen. Stay epic, everyone.